Paris Bennett, a psychopath and murderer, mercilessly took the life of his 4-year-old sister, Ella Bennett, inflicting 17 stab wounds upon her when he was just 13 years old. He fully accepts responsibility for this heinous crime, and experts have determined that he cannot be rehabilitated. During his initial confession, Paris revealed that he committed the murder as a means to punish his mother, Charity Lee, due to his deep-seated resentment towards her. He was aware that his sister's death would inflict immense emotional pain upon his mother. It is important to note that prior to this tragic incident, Charity Lee had experienced a relapse into drug use after maintaining sobriety for 12 years. Since that fateful night, Lee has associated butterflies with her late daughter, as it was the subject of Ella's final school painting. In 2012, Lee gave birth to another child named Phoenix. Remarkably, she allows for communication between Paris and his younger brother, emphasizing her commitment to teaching Phoenix about unconditional love and forgiveness. What happened on the night of the murder? Now, let's explore what happened on the night of the murder. Around 12:30 a.m. on February 5, 2007, while Charity Lee was working at Buffalo Wild Wings, the police informed her that her daughter had been harmed. Desperate to see her daughter, she requested to be taken to her, but the officers devastatingly replied, "You can't go, she's dead." Worried about her son, she inquired about his safety, to which they responded, "We have him." Before leaving for work, Charity Lee had arranged for a babysitter to look after Ella and Paris. However, Paris, who possessed a genius-level IQ of 141, had ulterior motives. He convinced the babysitter to leave the residence around 10 p.m. Taking advantage of the situation, Paris, age 13 at the time, entered his 4-year-old sister's room, where he proceeded to choke, assault, and stab her 17 times. Afterward, he engaged in a conversation with a friend from school for 6 minutes before finally calling 911. Confessing to the operator, Paris spoke, "I accidentally killed somebody." The operator, seeking clarification, asked, "You think you killed somebody?" Paris, haunted by guilt, vehemently replied, "No, I know I did. My sister. I feel so messed up." Despite the operator's instructions to perform CPR, Paris remained motionless, aware that his sister, Ella Bennett, had already passed away. In the book, How Now Butterfly, Charity Lee reveals that prior to murdering his sister, Paris consumed violent pornographic material, including content related to S&M, bondage, and sadism. Prior to the tragic event, Paris immersed himself in the consumption of violent pornography, delving into themes of S&M, bondage, and sadism. Disturbingly, he also sought out snuff films, showcasing his deep fascination with extreme and depraved content. Lee's book reveals that his stabs were deliberate, slow, and methodical, devoid of frenzied or uncontrollable rage. Not all wounds were deep. Most were shallow jabs and punctures, indicating a calculated and sadistic approach. Initially, Paris claimed that he killed his sister because of a hallucination in which she appeared as a pumpkin-headed demon on fire. However, he later admitted to planning the attack on his little sister, revealing his intention not only to kill her, but also to murder his mother. Paris wanted to make his mother suffer by taking both of her children away. Killing his sister, and knowing he would go to prison would leave her to suffer for the rest of her life. Paris aimed to rob his mother of both her children, ensuring her lifelong suffering by orchestrating the murder of his sister and accepting the consequences of imprisonment. This disturbing revelation showcases the depths of Paris's malevolence and the unimaginable torment he wished to inflict upon his own family. During a prison visit, Charity Lee recounts the chilling words her son uttered, "You're right, I did kill her." Even while incarcerated, Paris continues to inflict pain on his mother, saying things like, "By the way, I enjoy watching your pain." Lee acknowledges that her son is a monster, and she has lost her daughter because of him. She knows that Paris may pose a threat to her life, as evident when a visit ended with him attempting to choke her. In her journal, she vividly described the horrifying encounter, recalling how he cornered her against a cold, concrete wall, leaving her gasping for breath. The fear of death consumed her as he tightened his grip, and she was only granted a brief respite before the assault resumed once more. In 2017, Paris Bennett spoke openly in an interview, accepting full responsibility for his crime. He denied any preconception or mental illness, stating that he made a deliberate choice to commit the monstrous act. His words, while acknowledging his accountability, served as a chilling reminder of his capacity for further violence. "I chose to do my crime, and I take full responsibility for my crime. And I wouldn't say there was a predisposition to what happened. I'm not insane, and I don't suffer from any mental illness." Interview with Piers Morgan. During an interview with Piers Morgan, Paris Bennett opened up about his twisted motives behind the horrific act of targeting his mother and murdering his 4-year-old sister. He revealed, "For many years, there was just this hot, flaming ball of wrath in the pit of my stomach, directed at my mother. His intention was to inflict the worst possible pain on her, knowing that the loss of one of her children would devastate her deeply. In a chilling twist, Paris found a way to take away both her children in one fell swoop." Paris acknowledged the monstrous nature of his crime, but refused to let that define his entire life. He expressed, "Yes, I did commit a monstrous crime, but I don't think that one mistake defines my entire life." Piers Morgan, reflecting on Paris's character, remarked, "In my opinion, if you were scripting a movie about a young psychopath, you would choose somebody like Paris. He is highly intelligent with a genius-level IQ. He is articulate, well-spoken, and good-looking. But of course, it's very real what he did." Paris Bennett. Now, Paris Bennett, now 29 years old, is currently incarcerated at the Ferguson Unit Texas State Prison, serving a 40-year sentence. He is expected to be eligible for parole in 2027. Considering the potential danger he poses, experts have advised Charity Lee and her son Phoenix to seek a safe haven when Paris is released. However, despite the looming threat, Charity still allows Phoenix, her youngest son, to maintain communication with Paris. Her intention is to impart the values of unconditional love and forgiveness to her youngest child. Charity Lee has confronted a chilling reality that her own life could be at risk due to her son, Paris. This unsettling revelation dawned on her during a distressing visit that turned violent, as Paris attempted to strangle her. In her personal journal, she vividly recounted the horrifying encounter where he pinned her against a cold, concrete wall, leaving her struggling for breath. The fear of death consumed her until he briefly released his grip, only to resume the assault. Legal proceedings. Paris Bennett's case involved several legal proceedings following the murder of his younger sister. Here is an overview of the key events, arrest, and trial. After Paris, Bennett made a chilling confession to the 911 operator. He was arrested on February 5, 2007, for the murder of his 4-year-old sister, Ella Bennett. Bennett's case went to trial, where he faced charges of capital murder as a juvenile. The trial began in 2009 when he was 17 years old. Guilty plea and sentencing. Instead of going through a full trial, Paris Bennett entered a guilty plea in 2009, admitting to the murder of his sister. As part of the plea agreement, Bennett received a sentence of 40 years in prison, making him eligible for parole in 2027. As she reflects on the incomprehensible crime committed by Paris, Charity Lee has gained insight into the factors that led her son down such a dark path. She recognizes that her own past drug use played a role, as she used cocaine for a 6-month period when Paris was 11 years old. During this time, he took on the responsibility of looking after his younger sister, Ella. In the face of overwhelming emotions, Charity has made a conscious choice to forgive her son and accept him for who he is. She acknowledges that Paris is a psychopath and acknowledges his capacity for unspeakable acts, remarking, "My son is a psychopath. I can't help him. That may not matter in the long run. What may matter is I can't, not at this point, give up on him. I love my firstborn with as much intensity as I have since that day I found out I was pregnant with him." Charity's understanding of Paris's condition doesn't diminish her awareness of the danger he poses. She firmly believes that under certain circumstances, he could kill again without hesitation, displaying little remorse for his previous actions. Recognizing the environment he will encounter in prison, she sincerely hopes he won't have the opportunity to claim another victim, expressing concerns about the lack of regard for human rights in the Texas prison system. In 2012, Despite the traumatic events involving Ella and Paris, Charity Lee gave birth to another child named Phoenix. Remarkably, she continues to allow Paris to maintain contact with his younger brother, emphasizing her commitment to teaching Phoenix about unconditional love and forgiveness. Despite being aware of the potential risks when Paris is eventually released, Charity steadfastly stands by her son, demonstrating a profound level of love and acceptance, even though she understands that she and Phoenix may become targets in the future.
If you want many more scary and interesting stories that have ever happened, then subscribe to the channel to always be aware of the release of new stories. And don't forget to like the video and write your opinion about the video below.